Welcome back, everybody, to the Premodern Fall Cup at Misty Mountain Games. I'm Brian Kowal. I'm joined here by Michael Heup, and we're in round 4 now. We're going to see a match between Nashville's very own Michael Phillips, second time making, I think it's the second time he's made, at least the second time he's made a trip out to
They sat in the wrong seats, man.
And on the other side, we got Nathan Marhefke, N-Boss, pre-modern N-Boss, Nathan Marhefke. He's been in the finals of one of our events 3 times and won 2 of them. And they sat in the wrong seats. But and it's going to be a match. Nathan is playing Blue-White Stiflenought, and Michael is playing Enchantress. I was talking to Michael about his deck earlier in the week. I was trying to get him to play Nature's Revolt. We'll see if he does. I guess I could look at his list, you know, but it's fun to find out. Okay.
They know they can begin.
And where's Michael?
All right. So the matchup. Oh, let me adjust that. Get that Stiflenought over there. So how do you think this plays out? I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen this matchup in action, but
I think it's an interesting one. It's a battle, so Blue-White Stiflenaught's usually like pretty good against combo decks, which I think Enchantress effectively is. But an advantage of Enchantress is it can kind of play the control role a little bit. There's a lot of things that I think Stiflenought doesn't love seeing, you know, like an Elephant Grass or, you know.
I guess so.
A lot of ways to stall up.
I don't know how many copies of Seal Cleansing are in Michael's list, but
I can tell you.
If the game kind of goes a little bit long, then the engine for Enchantress can get set up, and then I think the Enchantress deck would overpower the Stiflenought. But
yeah.
Stiflenaught's very powerful and could potentially just steal a game, but it runs the risk of just like running into a Seal Cleansing. So
I think Stiflenought probably is advantaged in this, but it has to hit its Dreadnought quick. Otherwise, it's not going to be able to make it happen against a deck like Enchantress after it gets going. That would be my and really, do they have any answer to, like, you know, worship or confinement and all that stuff?
I don't know, but I'll say, like, I have seen times where the Stiflenought has played a more controlling game, and playing against Argothian Enchantress makes that difficult, just because there's so many enchantments in Michael's list, and every card kind of converts into another card. It's hard to play the control role in that aspect. So
absolutely,
Sterling Grove is going to get cast for Michael, and looks like Nathan's going to double check.
Sterling Grove, shroud to all of your enchantments, all your other enchantments. And you can also pay a mana and sacrifice it to search your deck for any enchantment and put it on top. So you can sacrifice it for Enlightened Tutor, basically. Only for enchantments.
Yeah.
All right. Nathan, gonna drop his 3rd land.
All right,
this is my copy of Blue-White Dreadnought, or Blue-White Stiflenought.
Okay, but I mean, historically, the decks you've lent out have done pretty well.
I've lent 100% of the time. I've lent Nathan my deck.
Okay.
This is the only time he's ever repeated the same deck, I think, though.
Okay.
All right. It looks like we got a 12-12, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, okay.
It's not going to have to work too hard because Michael's at -2.
Yeah, as the classic feature match issues with the life counter has occurred.
I want to just get one of those pads with the flip numbers.
Yeah, I mean, you what? I just like the way this one looks on camera. So,
but this would look sweet on camera, I think.
It's nice and clean. So Sterling Grove does have the option to get a card like Seal Cleansing, but there's no guarantee that it's going to resolve, because if Nathan's willing to not commit this Dreadnought on turn 2, he's leaving up a mana. I mean, I guess I don't know what 1 mana counterspell he would have, but
he might have something. Yeah, it's true. His options are like usually Daze, foil, counterspell.
So Michael has a City of Solitude.
That's a good way to start out here. Oh, he's and he drew seal cleansing off that.
So this is a great card in this situation because if it gets countered, then it's unlikely that Nathan has anything else to counter on this turn. And obviously,
oh, this is pretty heads up by Nathan. He knows, so he knows a seal might be following.
Yep.
So he's going to Vision Charm his Phyrexian Dreadnought. And now Michael cannot seal cleansing the Dreadnought on Nathan's turn because City of Solitude's in play.
Yeah.
So he can't activate the seal.
Problem is Nathan's only going to get one attack here.
True.
But I see a Meddling Mage in the hand of Nathan, and maybe that's able to get the remaining 6 points of life, which doesn't seem that hard.
Yeah, it's certainly a possibility.
I'm trying to think what you name here. Also, well, we could see Sterling Grove. Is there a worship in the main deck?
There usually is. Yeah, there is.
Okay.
There's a worship. But
Swords of Plowshares is going to be named with Meddling Mage.
So I think, okay, Michael's not going for the worship. He's going to seal the Dreadnought.
Yeah, take out the Dreadnought. So now we're just down to a 2/2. Enchantress Presence. Okay.
Draw a card.
I mean,
Drew a worship there. He's going to play seal, draw a card. Draw 2 cards.
I definitely like Michael's position here, even at a low life total.
Did you draw 2 there or just 1?
I do not know.
It's up to him.
I don't actually know if they're optional. Maybe they. Either way. The Meddling Mage will take Michael down to 4, and here we have a worship, and this is a difficult combination since the Argothian Enchantress has Shroud. And don't know if Nathan has any ways to get rid of
I'm
the
trying to think if Nathan has an out to this in his main deck.
Well, I would say Sterling Grove is in play, so the enchantments have Shroud.
Yep.
And so
he doesn't have a damn card in the whole deck that targets an enchantment anyway.
And this is not something that could be stifled. It's not like a triggered effect that you could stifle the trigger. It's just instead of you going to less than 1, you just go to 1.
Yeah, I think Nathan's already looking at his board, so he's probably I was like, I'm guessing he's just trying to see a few more cards out of Michael.
He did see a solitary confinement, and that was even more reason.
He's like, all right, not getting out of that either.
Yeah, so I mean, that was kind of how we talked about that. If the Enchantress deck has that piece of interaction and is able to slow down the Stiflenought deck, it has a very powerful engine. And I mean, pretty much every turn Michael did what he wanted. I mean, he had Wild Growth, I think, right away. He had Argothian Enchantress, and then he had Sterling Grove that one turn, and then it went City of Solitude, which was really key, and then plus Seal Cleansing. That got rid of the Dreadnought, and then he just had more pressure, more engine pieces. Enchantress's presence came, and then the worship came and just locked Nathan out. So.
Yep. All lined up great for Michael there.
So if we look at sideboards, are there a lot of tools that Nathan can bring in to fight a bunch of enchantments, or is it more of the same game plan? Is he going to be the aggressor?
He's got a couple Annul, a couple Armageddon. He has 2 Disenchants, and maybe Phyrexian Furnace if he has enough terrible stuff in his deck. He probably doesn't want Source of Plowshares, right? At all.
Right.
So that's coming out for sure.
Yeah, so he certainly has some tools that he can work with, like the Annuls and the Disenchant. Armageddon probably is a card you want, but I'm not.
I think
maybe you don't. I don't know.
I think I want I don't know. I think when I've played against and with Enchantress, I feel like Armageddon is very annoying when it happens, but doesn't always win the game either. It's not hard to put a couple lands together and draw out of it, but it also is a deck, throwing a whole bunch of wild growths on their own lands. Its value is based off how many Furl Grounds they probably play.
Okay,
I would say.
Does Michael's deck change?
He's got a couple of Carpetal Flowers, which I think is a huge one for him. He also brings in 4 Source of Plowshares. So I think afterboard, this Enchantress deck is really the control deck, where like it had to be the control deck game one, and now it's got really has the weapons to play control against.
So I had played Enchantress before, and I looked at a card like Carpet of Flowers, and I just didn't see that many matchups where the mana really felt good. But it's usually the equation is the decks that you would want Carpet of Flowers, Elephant Grass is really bad. So maybe that's just an exchange that Michael makes. But I guess what sequences do you see where that would be like really powerful to have a Carpet of Flowers?
You do want a critical mass of one casting cost enchantments with this deck. So I think it's a pretty good one.
Okay.
Because also like this is, I think it's pretty. This is like the exact matchup you really want it. This and Stasis. You know? Stasis is a big one.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty good here.
I mean, I would bring it in
better than an Exploration. Right?
Probably fine against land still as well.
Yeah. He also has an Aura of Silence he can bring in. He has a second City of Solitude.
Okay.
Actually, I did the coverage thing where I looked at his main deck and made sure it wasn't main.
So I'll note, Nathan looked at a hand that was, I believe, an Island, a Portent, 2 Meddling Mages, and then I think it was like Counterspells or Foil, or then like Vision Charms. So it had pieces, but it didn't have everything. And I think Nathan felt that too much was being held together by that Portent, and it was a little bit too risky, so he sends it back. I think both players are mulliganing.
Wow, he has a Ground Seal on his board? Crazy. Karmic Justice not coming in. Sacred Ground, if he really guesses there's a get-ins in the future, he can bring in Sacred Ground. It's not the worst. If he thinks that's gonna wreck him, it's.
Well, I mean, Ground Seal's kind of a cute way to shut down Gaia's Blessing, right?
That's true. Yeah, it affects both players, so you can stop.
There's no way to
those.
You can't target 0 if you. Right, you can't target 0 if it's. Or can you still?
It's target up to 3.
Yeah, so are you still able to just choose 0 if you can't? I don't know.
I believe you can.
I don't know. That might be a judge question, but
You
not going to come into play in this
not
match.
To target.
But yeah. Okay, so who do you think the mulligans hurt more?
I kind of want to say Nathan.
I mean,
because Michael has the draw engine, you know.
It really depends on what kind of game plan Nathan's trying to do. If he's just trying to jam a Dreadnought and say hope you don't have a seal cleansing, then I don't think the mulligans hurt him as much. But if you're trying to play a more interactive game, then I do like. Michael does have those engine cards, the Argothian Enchantress and the Enchantress Presence, which can make up for a lot of lost ground in a mulligan.
For sure. Yeah, I think I don't know. Michael's deck's pretty stacked for this Dreadnought matchup after board. It looked like.
So I know it didn't happen, but if your opponent's like just cracking Windswept Teeth, are you ever like just using a Stifle?
The turn 1 Windswept Teeth.
I mean, I can
depending on the
see it.
texture of the hand, I think so.
I know that the times that I've played Enchantress, sometimes it like those initial turns with the mana can be a little fragile, and so it might just be worth taking a shot of really
also
slowing down your opponent.
And usually when you crack a turn 1 Windswept Teeth, you're expecting to land that wild growth. Yeah. It's I think it's pretty reasonable. Nathan obviously didn't have a second Dreadnought thing in his hand, so that wasn't even an option.
All right, Dreadnought Stifle.
Nathan in that awkward mono blue Dreadnought situation where he has a Gush in his hand, or that awkward blue white Dreadnought situation.
Yeah, this is like the one criticism, I guess, comparing the two decks.
The blue-white Dreadnought fans will tell you that it's just strictly better. But...
All right, very important there. Michael has a seal cleansing. He even played around Daze, for what it's worth.
Adarkar Wastes is no island.
And now, So the Meddling Mage was in Nathan's hand, right? Do you think there's...
Was it?
I think it was.
I thought he drew it.
Oh, okay.
But
I would say, like,
you might be right.
Do you think it's reasonable to wait your Dreadnought and name Seal Cleansing first?
Yeah.
And pave the way? But Enchantress's presence is named, and then Michael's like, well, that's okay, I got this Argothian
Lost the
Enchantress.
shell game.
Yeah.
He's got a plow anyway.
Should Nathan be at 21? He only took... Oh, no. Oh, wow.
You cracked that fetch line.
Okay. And that.
Oh, Nathan's side?
Yeah, well,
he's definitely tapped.
He used the fetch line
and
Adarkar Wastes, yeah. So.
He drew a Dreadnought there. I guess he gets on a seal.
Yeah, I would kind of compare the Enchantress deck to kind of like a locomotive train. Like it's a little bit slow to get started, but like it has so much power and potential in those. And it's not. I won't even necessarily say the late game. Like it can be like turn 4 or 5. That kind of that mid game. It will turn a corner and just
it turns it hard.
Yeah.
You honestly get to a point where you're like an embarrassment of riches for options, like so quickly, where you're like, I don't know if this is the best play, but we're gonna.
All right, Sarah's Sanctum is down. That's producing multiple mana for Michael each turn. And Aura of Silence is a really nice card because it just makes that taxing effect on what Nathan does, just to cast the Dreadnought, and then also is a built-in answer for if it were to resolve.
Yep.
So Nathan's casting Gush the hard way for 5 mana at the end of turn. He's going to untap Portent. So some card manipulation, but he really needs to get a lot there. We do see a Disenchant, though it's problematic because like you take out an Aura of Silence and then you still have to deal with the Seal Cleansing.
Yeah, but how's he getting out of this?
Yeah,
against the Aura of Silence.
A Meddling Mage beat down. I don't know.
I think he kind of has to bust through all of these Disenchants.
I mean, the
third one.
I would say the third one is a lot because I was gonna say like the Dreadnought deck has like each copy of Stifle, Vision Charm, and Disenchant interact pretty well with these cards because you can protect the Dreadnought with a Vision Charm, or you could stifle an activation, or Disenchant would take it out preemptively. But yeah, as soon as like when you see 3 of them on the table, it's gonna be hard to commit a Dreadnought to the board.
I think Nathan should be gushing here. Get back in it.
I think his plan is just to hard cast him, and instead of returning islands.
Yeah, think about how much the boulder is rolling down the hill.
The second one
really fast now.
Yeah, but the second one you can easily return, but the first one, a little bit, it sets you back more. So
yeah,
I don't mind waiting for this one here.
But he hadn't lit a land yet either, so he only loses.
All right, never mind. He's gonna gush here. I think he's looking for a counterspell. He still does have the Disenchant. All right, we got 2 gushes. There's no foil there, right?
Yeah. Pretty garbagey gushes here. He's got a handful of air, really. He can't even play a Dreadnought. Stiflenought if you want.
Even if there weren't 2 Seal Cleansings and an Aura of Silence in play.
Now he's got the Stifle, so he can do it.
Yeah, but it's
just gonna hunker down here and hold his hand.
Well,
bold versus a pile of Disenchants.
Yeah, I think this is
tribal over here.
I think this is way too much for.
Yeah, I don't see him coming out of this. He has to, because he really wanted to disenchant that aura to be able to keep playing, and now he has to get rid of that worship as well, right?
Yeah, eventually. Unless he's casting Vision Charm, milling out that way.
Yeah,
but...
it's conceivable he could stack like a Dreadnought and 3 Vision Charms and Stifles, you know, and kill the worship. Oof. Oof. There's a Parallax Wave. That's gonna be another one. That's the permanents that must be dealt with count is up to 5.
I guess the bright side is if the game draws out for 6 more turns or whatever, then that one goes away. But it's 6 more turns.
In 6 more turns, Nathan is a dead wizard.
I guess. Do we want to talk how the Enchantress deck usually wins, or does that not matter? I guess.
I mean, there's 2 main win conditions usually. One is Words of War plus drawing lots of cards.
Okay.
They can just they can choose to skip a draw, pay 1 mana, choose to skip their next draw they would get, and Nug for 2. And the other way is to get Opalescence and Replenish into play.
Yep.
Or Opalescence and Parallax Wave into play.
I mean, if you know what your opponent's playing, like what Michael had assembled last game was Sterling Grove to give Enchantment Shroud. He had Solitary Confinement. Well, I guess that wouldn't stay in forever. I guess if you just skipped enough draw steps and then had Worship and Argothian Enchantress, you would deck out your opponent. But
yeah. We got 20 minutes left.
I'm gonna go take a peek and see if there is a match that we can bump onto the feature match table. So if you want to keep them entertained, BK, I'll be right back.
Yeah, we'll be playing blue and drawing a card and seeing what the tournament has, and we'll report back to you with a new match. How's everybody liking the event so far? What's the favorite match you've seen? You got any questions for me? I can answer them all. How many people? We have 34 people. Just 3 short from the New York numbers. Man, I wanted to beat it so bad, but didn't quite get there this time. At 34, we're going to have 6 rounds of Swiss. So we got 2 more rounds after this, and then the top 8. I just rolled the prizes out. Usually, how sweet is the sauce on a Panzerata? So here's the thing about the Panzerata is they deep fry it, right? So it heats the sauce a lot. So a lot of times the sauce is I would say it's low sweetness because it's almost all gets vaporized. That's one thing I'll say about a weakness of the Panza is the sauce, Jared. Another hot survival tip, literally hot, is when you eat a Panza, the first play is to tear the corner off and let the steam come out, because sometimes people bite in right away and they just get this blast of Panza steam shoot right in their mouth, burn their whole mouth out. So yeah, those are survival tips you can bank on. How to eat a Panza right here. BK, I think you still win so long as Flores doesn't get the W, right? True.
All right, we get to see Will. Will's sitting down. They're going into game 3.
We're gonna see Will Hurst playing against.
Let me bring up the name.
I got it. Where are you?
I'll update things as we get our players sitting down. So this must be 1-1 right now.
Will is playing against Clayton Wilbanks.
Okay.
Clayton's a local Madison player. He used to play a lot of PTQs. I'm not sure he does so much anymore, but happy to see him come out and play some pre-modern. He's one of those guys who always comes in. He's like, I'm going to play one of those pre-modern events sometime. And I think this might be the first one he's...
Okay.
First or second he's been to. And he is playing Mono Red. So we're going to see Mono Red versus the Will Hurst special of Stasis, I believe.
Yep. And so...
Classic red versus blue.
Yes. This is a matchup. I always think of... it was the first Misty Mountain tournament we did, right? That was the finals?
The finals, yeah. Uh-huh. Ricky versus Will.
But ironically, Will was in the red deck, and he was the one who took it down. And
then he took up Stasis and ran with it.
Yeah, is Will more of a Sly player or a Stasis player at this point?
Stasis for
Okay.
sure. He loves them both.
Yeah.
We haven't announced next year's schedule at all yet. Probably figure out a date for the first one pretty soon.
Okay.
Since it's 2 away, but I'll probably only like pre-plan the spring one and then do the schedule for the rest of the year.
It looks like Clayton is ball getting his first opening hand. Well, I'm guessing that Will is keeping
his third opening hand.
Sure.
It's just distinctly bad timing.
So, I mean, who would you rather be in this position? Would you rather be in the hands of? I mean, other than I don't think you enjoy playing Stasis, but like,
I don't mind it. Here's the thing. I like both these decks, and I kind of enjoy playing them for fun, but I don't think I'd want to play either of them in a tournament. They're just not how I would like enjoy playing a tournament. Okay. Yeah. But I'll say it. I actually kind of enjoy a good game of Stasis.
I mean,
it's kind of fun.
The times that I've played Stasis, there are certainly a lot more situations that feel really close. I know sometimes you play against it and it feels so lopsided.
Yeah.
But it's really the Stasis player is like kind of holding on by a thread. And it's really interesting from the Stasis' perspective.
Yeah.
I'll say like sometimes when you're playing against it, you don't have that many cards that interact against it, and you're kind of like, all right, well, I'm going to do this kind of thing, and if you have it, you have it. But I don't know. There's a lot of micro decisions.
Yeah, it's a really weird deck to navigate. I watch people play Stasis, and I'm always like, I don't think I would do it like that. Even like Will, I'll watch him and I'm like, I don't know if I would have gone that direction with it. And I really enjoy playing against Stasis too. Usually, but whenever I play a new deck against Stasis, it's like 3 games before I really have like what I should be doing in the matchup down in my head. I usually almost always lose the first game I play against Stasis with any deck.
There is a learning curve in general, but
yeah.
It's kind of nuanced in terms of like there are certain times that you want to cast spells against the Stasis, and sometimes you just want to wait patiently, and it all depends on what you have, what they have, and what your deck can do.
Yeah. I think this is one of the matchups Stasis likes to play against the least, though.
Yeah, this one can be pretty problematic. I mean, like sometimes sideboard cards like can just crush them. Like chill is really important, but it looks like Will doesn't have an early chill, and there is early pressure with Jackal Pup, which can also be problematic. Oh, well, there is an early chill at least, but there's still a little bit of pressure
here.
We got Counterspell Wars already. Pyroblast is going to be to try and get rid of the chill, but then Thwart picking up 3 islands, so all of Will's islands, just to get this chill into play.
Down to 1 permanent, and Clayton has a clock, so it's not so bad. And Clayton's a little mana flooded, so we're gonna see a situation with chill that I kind of always. Oh, second chill.
There's a breeze.
The second chill's rough.
There's a breeze.
Now let's get a little cold here.
And so I think what
a lot of times chill will like get to a state where it's not actually doing anything because you get like you draw lands with the red deck. Sometimes they draw lands and
a Lavamancer, like just as a creature. I mean, I'll pay 5 mana for this 1/1 in the spot.
Yeah, I'd pay 5 mana for Lavamancer right now. That's just what it should cost. Will is playing a blue-white Stasis.
He's got white in his list?
He does.
Okay.
He's got 2 Swords of Plowshares, man. 2 Enlightened Tutors.
So is he playing Flooded Strand and then the Forsaken City for that white splash?
Yeah, and a Plains, yeah.
Oh, okay.
4 Strand, 4 City, 1 Plains.
So, I mean, Will not able to deal with the permanents that are in play. I guess, okay, Stasis here, but this is interesting because, I mean, Clayton does have a bunch of lands untapped, but with everything costing 4 extra mana, that doesn't represent very many spells. There is a Barbarian Ring, and that is something that can't be really interacted with from Will's perspective. Right. And, like, Fireblast is a card that could deal a chunk of damage, And all right, Clayton's.
Blade's gonna pay 5 for a Jackal Pup here.
I don't know if I'm a fan of that.
I don't like it. Oh no, sir.
It's at most 2 damage here, right? And
yeah, that's
no
way. I would save it for a Pyroblast, maybe.
I think I would just slow. I mean, maybe you're afraid of a. I don't know.
Will always 2 chills in his deck. Impressively.
Okay. So Will is going to play a Forsaken City. He's going to use it right away to Hydroblast the untapped Jackal Pup. So even though we talked about that spending the 4 mana for that 2/1 didn't seem great, well, it
Man, I don't
gave
know
an answer for Will. He'll
I don't know if I
exile.
would have Hydroblasted the pup either on Will's side though.
I mean, it depends on how many counterspells Will has, and if he has a bunch, then like if time goes long because he has a Forsaken City, like he's gonna have other opportunities to counter spells. And so I think those even 2 points of life I think is pretty valuable.
But the pup can't possibly kill him, right?
But if then what is killing him? Because if it deals 2 damage, then Will's afraid of something getting close. Like that's when like Fireblast plus Barbarian Ring.
Fireblast is a thing that can kill him.
Yeah, but if he's able to answer that 2 damage, then Fireblast doesn't kill him, and he has time to get other counterspells available. So I like the play.
Fair.
Chaz said he's never going to cast Vortex. Yes, I do not think Sulfuric Vortex is coming down against 2 chills.
Nope.
Yeah, we understand that Fireblast still costs 4, but it's still a spell that you can cast. Oh, is this what he was trying?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, I think Fireblast is what Clayton needed to get out of this. That's the only card one of the only cards I would counter is like Fireblast or I would only counter Fireblast or Pyroblast probably. Because that's Clayton's way out, right? He gets a Fireblast through, and then he Barbarian rings him twice, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, but the thing is, if he takes 2 extra damage, then he's in danger of. I mean, because you're
any 5 casting Gush shock.
Yeah, but how many turns does Clayton have to pass to get to those cards? It's so many, and if Will has any amount of counter magic, then his life total is the restricting factor. We have a Black Vice, so with a gazillion cards in Clayton's hand, he's going to start taking damage. He's discarding. Yeah, that Sulfur Vortex is gone.
I mean, even casting Pup is just like, I don't know, it just makes 0 sense.
All right, well, Clayton's hitting a few land drops, but it's still, I mean, I just don't.
Yeah, he's not getting out of this.
I don't see a way.
Chills are going to walk.
Little Gush, returning the islands. I mean, Will's just been paying Stasis with the Forsaken City as he's exiling cards, and he has to discard it on turn. So,
he's only losing to a Stasis dying, and that's not going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that second chill did a lot of work. I would say, like the
second chill saved him.
Just with one play, well, Closet Gix, I guess if you didn't feel like the game was already won, this has got to be it. And so
I'm not sure Pup cost him the game, but it definitely wasn't a good use of it.
Yeah, I think if he was more patient, then he has more opportunities. Like
patience is the key against Stasis usually. Except when you have to rush.
I mean, you don't like your spot either way when all your spells cost 4 more mana. But I mean, you could have waited for a spot that if you're able to sneak in one Fire Blast in that spot and you drew that second Barbarian Ring, well then And
Right.
it could have been something you do. So Fire Blast does get attempted, but Will has, I believe that's a blue elemental blast.
It is a blue mouth blast.
And there we go. Will and his Stasis deck is able to take down Clayton's Sly deck, and so Will wins the match 2-1.
Were
All
they? What were their records at?
I don't know. I think I can check that real quick. So,
It doesn't show it on here.
I think the problem is I'm looking at a previous round or something. I'm not sure, but we can check on that and update later. But do we want to talk about anything before we move to a break? I think almost all the other matches have finished, so we're not going to be bringing another match for this round.
We're gonna have another drawing real soon.
Yeah, I can
for
pop
two more
that
things.
pop that link in real quick.
Get your tickets in. We thing. I don't know if I take it down
What are you checking?
that we took down.
That we updated the ones that have been selected.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so here's the link for the charity event. So that's a way for you, if you're at home, you can enter the raffle and win some of those prizes. We would mail any of those out, or any but the sweater.
Any of them.
Any of them will be mailed if you're the winner of the raffle. So
We already gave the sweater away.
okay, sweater has been given away. So has the playmat been raffled off yet? Someone was asking.
I don't believe so.
Okay. So I know we are working on updating the store so that things that have been raffled already are no longer available.
We gotta check what we raffled off.
Okay. So we'll just have BK check real quick, and then we'll go do a quick break. All right, chat. So we're moving into the other rounds. I want to know, is there any particular deck that you guys are interested in seeing? We're probably going to be looking to see either decks that are potentially going to be in the top 8, or maybe decks that just really stand out and look really cool. But I'm interested to see if there's anything that you guys are looking to see today. I feel like we had a decent variety. We've shown some interesting lists, I think, in a lot of the rounds. That we saw the Turbo Lands, the Mulch Oath, we saw the Junk Control against Dead Guy Ale, and we had seen Welder Survival against Survival Madness, and here we saw Sly and Stasis. Balancing things, I don't believe we have anyone playing that, but I can check.
The other three are still available. The Volcanic Island print and the test print are still available.
So,
We'll probably do a test print this round.
okay, so the test, or the
Mother of Runes is gone too.
okay, the Mother of Runes is gone. Is that still available on the website? Do you know?
Yeah, because they're all
It's
on
one
the same
item.
picture.
Okay, so what has been raffled off so far?
The Mother of Runes and the sweater.
Okay, so Mother of Runes and sweater has already
I took the sweater down.
raffled off. Okay. Is there greater good in the room? I will say that
No.
Blake is normally our greater good player. He is playing a
Dream
different deck.
Halls.
He's playing Dream Halls. I
Yeah.
don't know how he's been doing, but that might be one to see. Are there any decks that you're looking forward? I will say there is one deck. I won't talk about it yet because if we get it on camera next round, and I think that's what I'm going to try.
Which one's that?
Yes,
Unfortunately,
I just
Dylan-
said that Mother of Runes was raffled
Unfortunately,
off.
Dylan O'Chude with the Pattern of Rebirth
Oh, when was
combo
Mom
deck.
raffled off?
last round.
Okay. I guess I would check the
Yeah.
timing to see if Gabe's was before or after that.
Okay.
Um,
Gabe, when did you get tickets for it?
well, can't you check your
I'm
history?
I'm looking. He's right here.
He said, I just bought tickets, is how he said. He said 30 minutes ago. I do believe it was checked before that. Well, I mean, that's pretty close to when the round started. I guess that probably was after the round. So maybe we move his to a different box. But I guess we could check to see if his ticket is in the box. But we'll look into that and amending it, and we'll probably if you have a suggestion of what you want to move it to, we can do that.
Yeah, I'll move it for you.
All right.
5 for the Mother of Runes. I can refund you. You know.
We're going to move to a quick break as we're finishing up this round, but we'll be back with more pre-modern action at the Premodern Fall Cup.
You bought it at 1:58. It was 47 minutes ago.
Okay. As we will be back for the next round. So don't go anywhere. Thanks for everyone for watching. We'll be back soon.
Okay.